Today we have a new art piece I designed again. This is another one in the same kind of spectrum as the spiral piece that I made. It's kind of wonky, a little diverse. I don't know, it's a little different. We have a white base, the same base that the other two art pieces that we showed last are already on. Can you guys stop? And so we're gonna pour this in solid white. Yeah. And it's gonna match the base entirely. Yeah, please. So it's gonna be just like a solid white base, solid white pour.
Josiah had to go, but here's that white base that he was talking about. So it's kind of the same as those other end tables we've done. This is just a design that we really like. But this one is powder coated solid white. So we're hoping that we can get the same color of white in this pour and then pair them together, and it should just be a really nice match when it's done. We calculated that we need about 9 liters for this. All we did for that is we calculated the volume of the total mold, then we calculated the volume that the wood pieces take up, and we subtracted the volume of the wood from the total mold, and we came out with, it was like just over 8, so we're just kind of rounding it up to 9 for this. So we'll do, this is going to be 4 liters of resin. I'll do another 2 liters of resin for a total of 6, and then I'll do 3 more liters of hardener, and that'll give us a 2-to-1 ratio. Now it's time to add the color in. This one, like we mentioned, solid white to match that base. So we're actually just going to be using white liquid dye here. Now this is Epoxy dye and this is chill epoxy that we're using, but the nice thing is they're totally compatible. So it's not like you have to use chill dye with the chill. You can use most kinds of dyes and pigments. So that's why we're using the Epoxy today. But to get a solid white, from the tables we've done in the past, we find it takes a lot of white pigment. I'm gonna put way more than we usually do. Usually we say like 1 drop per liter, but I'm just gonna squeeze this out, probably put like the equivalent of 100 drops or something, just to get a nice solid white. Really?
So if Josiah wants an AC, he has to guess the price of it.
Yeah,
I'll spread, and they keep track of every model and every price, and then they go on the show and just post about that, what those products are.
Alright. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to measure the thickness. So this guy just came out of the mold. It's a 51.7. So because it's a 51.7, we're gonna set this to 50 because it's around 2 mils that it's gonna take off. We don't want to go any further than that because it could get stuck in the blades, and we don't want that to happen. I made a small mistake before I started this process, and that was the fact that I only measured 1 corner. So because this came straight out of a pour table, there's a chance that it might be out of level a little bit and that it could be thicker on one side than the other. So the proper thing to do before you toss it through the planer after taking it out of the mold is to check all around for the thickness to find your highest point and then start skimming the highest point off a little bit. So on this side over here, I actually took my calipers here, I measured it, and this one says it's 55 over here. So because this side's 55, this corner over here was only 51, 52, I'm actually going to run it in at 55 just to skim past the top, make a clear cut of it, and continue on from there. What we've done here, I've just set it down, took a square, found the center, drew a center line. Our base is 18 by 18. It's a square, so it's 18, 18, 18, 18. Drawing the center line allows us to find our center, obviously. It allows us to get equal distance of resin on either side of these corners because this piece is twisted in the resin. We want to try and make it equal on either side. So finding center is the best way to do that. So it is 18 inches final. We got 9 inches out here. We finished up sanding the piece, so now we're gonna set the base on. I've already kind of marked this out, but I'm just gonna run you through the process. So we set our base on, we get it all centered, then we go over here, we take our hole punches, got a little pointy tip on them, take a hammer, choose something that fits well within your hole. If it's too small, it could offset your insert, and then your inserts aren't going to line up when you actually screw the piece down. So if you choose something that like maximizes the width in the hole, then it's going to center the punch more so in the center than if it was too small. So I've already tapped these out, but if you just put the punch in, you can give it a little tap, it'll put a hole, just a little hole in it. You can actually see where all four are right now. There's one here. The next step, drill our inserts through. So what I like to do is, starting with a smaller bit, we'll just drill a slight hole into it, just approximately 3 to 4 mils deep. And we actually have a designated bit for inserts into resin. Because the resin is more dense than the wood, we actually need to use a bigger bit so that the resin doesn't crack or split on us. So we upgrade to the bigger bit after we use the small bit, because the tip of this bit is somewhat flat, and that's actually wider than the punch hole that we have. So we start with something smaller, has a finer tip, just to pre-drill the hole, get it set for the big bit, then put the big bit through, and then we put our inserts in. And we're using a Rampa inserts, these guys here. They're thick and they're casted inserts actually. So they're really strong. Got some big bolts here too that go with them, and we're going to be grinding these things down so that they fit nice and perfect. we did a fitting, and we just took it all apart. We brought it upstairs, and we're gonna, okay, we're gonna put some wood wax extra thin on this bad boy, and it should look fantastic.
Oh, that's looking good. Oh, wow. It pops so much?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Whoa. That's it. That's our whole process of building one of these geometric end tables. So the top, again, just kind of go over. Josiah cut all these pieces of walnut. I don't think that was shown in the video, but it's pretty straightforward. It's just like cutting 45-degree corners and piecing everything together. And then we built a mold, cast this in white epoxy. We let it cure. We planed it, we cut it, we sanded it, and then we finished it with Osmo. We used their Pollux. The Osmo Pollux is a really good finish for any kind of furniture like this. You can find it for sale on our website. The epoxy we used was Chill Epoxy. This one specifically, we used the Chill Deep Core. That is also available on our website, and same with the pigment that we used. You can find basically all the supplies needed to build this table online. The legs came from Forge 53, but that's about it, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this week's video. Just again, showing you guys sort of the full process of making a piece of furniture. And make sure you're subscribed because we have new videos every Friday. So we'll see you guys next week.